they would have been trying to reheat Harry Potter's nachos at a time where the movies had only been over for like 5 minutes, if they were even done by that point or not, because I don't remember, because I was young. I don't remember. On my bingo card this year is read 10 books. Yeah. And the thing is, I did that last year, but the goal was 7 books. So if we keep putting the goal as something super attainable, I think that I'll be able to push past it every single year. So, speaking of books I read last year, today we're going to be tier ranking all the books that I read in 2024. And I'm actually really excited. I wasn't excited before, but I am now. Okay, last year my goal was 7 books, right? So I ended up reading 14 books. And are all of those on here? This says I'm missing one. I don't know what it is, but we'll probably figure it out as I keep going. Okay, you'll be able to follow along because the tiers are going to be next to me. So on the very bottom, we have boo, right? Just boo, tomato, 3 thumbs down. Sorry, 2 thumbs down, just boo, flat out boo. And none of the books I read last year were just absolute trash, were just absolute garbage. I just couldn't get through them. No, so let's give applause for that. Last year we had no boo books. I don't know if that's going to be the case this year. Not saying that it already is, but I am saying it's only February, so buckle in for that one. The next tier on top of boo is oh, that's not. And the thing is, okay, so there are 5 tiers. However, these are not like, it's not 5-star ratings. It's not. Because as I was going through and like putting the books in the tiers, the tier list doesn't exactly match the rating list that I did last year. And that's just because it's a feeling. It's an inherent thing you just know when a book is just oh, that's not, that's so close, but no. So the first book we're going to talk about on the oh, that's not list is Blood Like Magic. And I was so sad because I really wanted to like this book so bad. I remember seeing it in every single shelf, in every single store I went to, Target, Barnes & Noble, whatever it was, and being like, oh my god, I have to buy this, I have to buy this. It's gorgeous. This cover is gorgeous. I was like, oh my god, this is fantastic, I have to buy it. And usually, when I'm that excited about a book, I will just buy the whole series. I learned from my mistakes. I learned from my mistakes doing that because I did that with the fine print series, the book where the series of the first book is the fine print. I am never doing that again. Ever. Because at that point, I think only 2 books were out in that series. And I bought both immediately. Read the first one. Oh, are you kidding? No. Whatever, that's not for now. But back to Blood Like Magic. I just didn't like it. I am a person who reads, watches, listens to. I like consume a lot of media, and I have throughout my life. So it's really hard to trick me when it comes to reading books, watching movies, whatever. I can call a plot twist 5 minutes into a movie, depending on how well the movie's written. 5 minutes in, I'm like, oh, you finna die. That's just it. They showing too much of a scene in the car. Obviously, they're finna get into a car accident. This man just says I'm weird. Oh, they have a secret third thing. He's actually the killer. It's not too hard sometimes, but depending on how well the movie or the book is written, it's hard for me. And Blood Like Magic, I had called the plot twist, the conflict, the conclusion, the resolution, early on, very early on. And my thing is, I like reading books where the romance is like the backplot, right? I like reading books where the romance is like the subgenre, but like the fantasy, the sci-fi, whatever it is like in the forefront, in the foreground, because I did say background, in the foreground. This book had the romance in the basement. It was in the basement, and that's fine, but you just let it out of the basement at least twice. No, they said no. They said no, they said no, they said no. And I'm not going to do too much, because the book was enjoyable-ish. The book was like enjoyable-ish, right? I'm not going to say I had like the worst time ever reading it. However, I didn't pick up the second one. And I think that says a lot about a book. If I'm going to go read the first one and then it's enjoyable but not to the point where I need to know more, yeah, I'm good. I do think everybody should read it though, because I need to know if I'm tweaking. I need to know if it's me, if I'm the problem. I think a lot of the things, okay, one of the things that I like really struggled with was the main character's decisions made me so mad throughout the entire book. She was so hard-hit, like beat your head. Literally one of the notes I have in my reading journal says she learns lessons the hard way, but like hard, like beat your head into a wall hard. Like I don't know. Some of the like great mysteries that were supposed to be like the big reveals at the end weren't big enough for me because I had figured them out 90 years ago. Oh, I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna give you a spoiler. However, it wasn't enough of a wow read for me. So that's why it's in the oh that's not, because we did try and we almost got there, but oh that's not. Okay, that's Spell Like Magic. Unfortunately, another book that I have in the oh that's not category is Children of Anguish and Anarchy, the last book in the Children of Blood and Bone series. I wasn't a fan, which hurts my soul and like crushes something on the inside of me, because that first book rewrote my brain chemistry. We getting ahead of ourselves. The last book came out last year, last year. So I went back and reread all of them last year, like leading up to the last book, right? And I must say, I have to put Anguish and Anarchy in the oh that's not category. And the issues I had with it were they introduce too much too fast and don't flesh out fast enough for the book to be over. Like, the book's only like 200 pages maybe. It's like 250 maybe, but the first book is like 600 pages, and like, I'm exaggerating, however that's how it feels. Like the last book is much thinner, much thinner. The pacing that was established in the first book, I would have loved to see it continue throughout the entire series. However, once we get to the end, everything is kind of like rushed together, and we move on really quickly from things that I would have loved to spend more time on, learn more about. And they introduced a whole new, like, okay, there's a map. Everybody knows that. In fantasy books, they love to have maps in the front, and I love that. I love that. However, for the third book, the map expands so big, so fast, and like, it just feels like there's a link missing between 2 and 3. What made 1 so special is nowhere to be found by the time we get to 3, which really hurts me to say, but it's the truth. It's the truth. And I read it last year, so it's definitely on this list, and it's definitely going in the oh that's not category, because it didn't feel like the rest of the books to me, and because of that, I have to put it right there. She said, very sadly. The audience is booing, we get it, calm down. But it's the truth. Moving on to the next category, which is, well, sorta kinda. And like, y'all know what I'm saying.
Well, yes.
Well, no.
Well, sorta kinda.
Well, sorta kinda. That's why we're sticking with this one. Middle tier, books that I enjoyed, were cool, but somehow there's still something wrong with this. It was very good, very enjoyable read. But there's... Hi, yes, good morning. This is Editing Tara in her blue light glasses. A chunk is missing. Don't know what happened. I can do nothing to fix that. However, y'all already have the introduction for the next tier. And the first book we're talking about is Heartless by Marissa Myers. Yeah, that's all. Okay, great. Back into it. Bye. Mwah. Marissa Myers is an author that okay, now I don't know what her issue is, actually, because apparently she be doing something crazy. I read the Lunar Chronicle series back when it like first came out in like, I don't know, 2017, 2016, I don't know. But I really liked Cinder. Like, it was like one of my favorite books for a little while. When I say little while, I mean like a month and a half. But she wrote Heartless, and because I had the book for a while, just hadn't read it, I decided to pick it up and read it this year. And it is going in the well sort of kind of category, because yes, the main character, the Queen of Hearts, her name is Catherine. Okay, y'all know who I'm talking about. Big head, the color red. You can always paint the roses red. What an odd thing to say. You know, like, stuff like that. Also, Wonder Woman was also my favorite movie for a very long time, but this has something to do with that. She does, like, grow up, like, in, like, a family that has a bunch of money, and she's expected to do certain things, because, like, I don't know, Regency era. But she doesn't want to do that. She wants to open a bakery. She wants to fall in love with this guy named Jess, and he's lovely and fun and all this other stuff, but her parents, they're not feeling it. And it's in the well, sort of, kind of, because the best part about this book was the boy. That felt like the only thing that was actually fleshed out. Like, it was just okay. And like, the difference between the well, sort of, kind of category and the oh that's not category is, did I enjoy this read? That's literally it. Like, that's what takes it from the oh that's not to the well, sort of, kind of, is I did enjoy Heartless. Like, I did enjoy it. It had issues, but it was an enjoyable read. And like, the oh that's not category is an enjoyable read. Like, it's like that. It's always an enjoyable read, but like, it's not an enjoyable read. You understand what I'm saying? That's Heartless. Moving on. Ace of Spades. Ace of Spades is a book that I have been like dying to get my hands on for so long. Like, when I say get my like claws into that book, get my claws into that book. The first time I saw it, I was like, oh, need. Immediately. Need. Didn't even read the back. Need. Ace of Spades is PLL X Gossip Girl, right? But it's advertised as like something X Get Out. Hold on. I don't know, but it was something. It was like One Tree Hill X Get Out, and I could have made that up, and that might not be right, but it was something X Get Out, and that's interesting. However, it's more PLLX Gossip Girl than anything else. Like, than anything else is PLLX Gossip Girl. Because the story follows two black students at an all-white school. Like, it's not a boarding school, it's like a day school. Like Constance, like Gossip Girl. There are only two black kids there, and they're being, like, terrorized, right, as the school year goes on. And in the beginning, the book was great. Like, it started off a little slow. Like, just the first couple chapters are just a little slow. But once you get into the book, it's good. Now, what did I say earlier? I am a person who can predict plot lines very well. And I was having issues going through it a little bit. But once I, like, got my footing, I had my footing. When I say had, I had my footing. And the thing is, it falls apart in the end for me because there's no resolution. And I understand that, like, now mind you, this is a banned book. This is a book that is on the current banned book list, because the way the book ends is you can't expect anyone to save you but your own. Is like really how the book goes. And there's just no resolution. There's no resolution for me. I didn't enjoy the resolution. Like, I wanted more. I wanted it to wrap up. I wanted to see more of the wrap up. That's what it was. I wanted to see more of the wrap up. I didn't get to see enough of that for me. The book just kind of ends. And like, that's no fun. Because my thing is, yes, I'm a person that, like, can predict media, can predict where stories are going, because I've seen so many of them. But, like, I really, really, really like when I'm able to predict a story, and then the way the author, okay, it's like, I thought you were going to do this thing, you did this thing, okay, now what? What you do after that makes the world of difference to me, because I have been able to predict stories, and the author has been able to, like, lay them out so well. I completely forgot that I figured that out. That was awesome. But that wasn't the case with Ace of Spades, and that's why it's in the well, sort of, kind of category, because, well, sort of, kind of. Okay, I started PJO for the first time. I have never read the Percy Jackson series, and I know, whoa, everybody's booing again. However, I did read a different, like, Greek mythology series. Now, see if I can find it so I can put it in here. But I read a different Greek mythology series around the time where I would have been reading Percy Jackson. And after watching that, I loved, okay, y'all really gonna boo on this one. I loved the Percy Jackson movie. I don't care. I don't care. Not even a little bit. I don't care. What I do care about is Logan Lerman. Like, oh well, I don't care. The Percy Jackson movie was fantastic. Now, because I've seen the movie so many times, it was my favorite movie for a while. Reading the first book, well, sort of, kind of. Like, it was just like reading the screenplay. Except they left me in some really weird chapters that nobody asked for. So that's why the first PJO is here, Lightning Thief. It's good. I'm not saying it's bad. It's good. It was an enjoyable read, but I've seen it too many times. Now, Titan's Curse is also here. And this is why. And I'm going to tell you why. Titan's Curse is a tipping point. Titan's Curse is the tipping point in the PJO series, where it goes from being like a one adventure a year sort of story to a, oh god, we're going to war kind of book. It's the Goblet of Fire of the Percy Jackson series. I love Goblet of Fire. Goblet of Fire is my favorite movie. It's my favorite book. Like, there's really no competition there. However, PJO has a way of slowing the first couple chapters down, because they have to retell you everything that's ever happened to this little boy before they get into, like, the mystery thriller adventure that I don't like. And, like, as somebody who didn't read the Harry Potter series as a child but have read it as an adult, they don't do that. They go into it assuming the audience knows exactly what happened in the last book, which I think as a series you have to do. Like, I don't care if it's tailored towards young people. I don't care if it's tailored towards kids. We've seen it done. We've seen it done well, to the point where, like, mega success. Like, we've seen it done well. We've seen not having to recap the whole story, or doing it in a way that makes sense and it doesn't bore the readers. I'm seeing it done well. And I don't think it's done well here. And that is the reason why I, like, slowed down going through the Percy Jackson series. I don't want to spend the first 5 chapters bored. I don't want to spend the first 5 chapters bored. I don't. So, that's why Titan's Curse is in the well sort of kind of category. Now, the fun part. Moving on to books that are tattooed on my brain. She said with a smile. These are books that I read last year that I will never stop thinking about, ever. It's been a full year. Not a full year. The year just ended. Like, it's February. But it's been some time, and I will not stop thinking about these books. They pop up at least once a month. At least once. And that's being, that's being, like, not generous. That's being, like, what would be the opposite of that? Y'all know what I'm saying? That's being generous. That's being stingy. Like, that's being stingy. Like, the first one is High Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Tabitha Hibbert. Yeah. Talia. Her name is Talia. Talia Hibbert, y'all. Alright.
Wow. If I had a nickel.
By Talia Hibbert. Now, I would recommend everybody read this book. Everybody and their cousin need to read this book. One thing I will say, it's not Celine's story. It's Bradley's story. And the thing is, on the back, his name was listed first. So why I thought it was Celine's story, I don't know. I don't know. But it was a fantastic read. Split POV. Like, what more could you ask for? Tension, angst, what could you ask for? I don't know. I don't know. Let's tell you. It was good. Very good. Almost perfect. Not perfect, but almost perfect. Very, very good. Yeah, and I need to read more of her stuff. I just need to read more of her stuff. Moving on. This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune. Yeah. Yeah. I told y'all, Best Friends Brothers gonna do it for me every single time. Best Friends Brothers, small New England-ish island romance. Takes place over a couple of years. Yeah. Unfortunately, I am back. I don't know what's going on with my camera. I have to figure that out before I do my next video. The intro for the book that we're missing in the Tattooed in My Brain category is Virtue and Vengeance by Tomi Adeyemi, which is the second book in the Children of Blood and Bone category. I'm tossing it back to you, and I want you to keep it, please. I don't want to have to come back here. Thank you. Sometimes I like the later in the series books because everybody's already established. You can know who the characters are and you can hit the ground running, right? Which is my issue with Titan's Curse, baby. We never hit the ground running. Ever. Never, ever, 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 ever. Never. Anyway, Virtue and Vengeance is like that. We can hit the ground moving immediately. And the pacing is good, the characters are good, the development is good. One of our favorite characters becomes a bigger role in the story. It's really good. It also gives Captain America Civil War is my favorite Captain America movie, and I think that one of the things I really like about the Steve Rogers Tony Stark dispute that they always get into, whenever they start fighting, they switch. Steve is moral and upright and is very rigid by the rules usually, but Tony is the opposite. He's very free-willing. He does whatever he wants. The rules live and die by his hand. But when they get into conflicts, when they get into arguments, when problems arise, they usually switch. They switch roles, which is so interesting because in Captain America Civil War, Steve becomes this vigilante-esque hero. He's going to do what he believes is right no matter what the government thinks. But Tony's the exact opposite. Whatever the government is saying is what he's going to believe at that moment. And that's how Amari and Zaylee are for Virtue and Vengeance. Zaylee is she's very Iron Man, and Amari is very Captain America. But they switch places in the book because, not switch places for real, but switch ideologies as they continue to go on because they have a conflict, they have an issue, they're beefing with each other and everybody else. It's very good. It's very good. And that's why it's tattooed on my brain, yeah. Half-Blood Prince. I don't know what to say. As ridiculous, and when I say ridiculous, I mean ridiculously awful, the author of that series is the person. Her pen was on fire. Her pen was on fire, which is unfortunate at best, troublesome at worst. Her pen was on fire, I must say. I'm not gonna spend too much time on that. But anyway, Percy Jackson's Sea of Monsters was such an enjoyable read. I actually really liked it. Mind you, the Sea of Monsters movie has nothing to do with the book. I'm convinced the book is completely different than the movie. Because I told you, I liked those movies. Sea of Monsters is completely different. And I'm very excited for season 2 of PJO. But the book was very good. Percy and Annabeth are crack. That I need that injected into my veins. Injected. I don't know. That ship, that's a ship. No, that's a ship. Coming from somebody that absolutely loves How to Train Your Dragon, now that's a ship. I figured it out. Remember I said I was missing a book in the lineup? One of them was a comic, so we're not going to include the comic for now, but maybe another day. Okay, we're on our final category. Yeah! And the last and most deadly category is IV drip. These are books that I have injected into my veins. When I say a constant drip flow. I mean, there isn't a day that goes by where I'm not something is reminding me of this book. And the first one is the scariest book I've ever read in my life. Just boo, jump scare, absolutely terrifying. You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight by Kaylin Bayron. And I hope I'm saying her name correctly. That book was scary. Yeah. That book was terrifying. Yeah, it was. And you should go read it. Main character Charity works at a summer camp where they do like a live reenactment every single night of the movie that was filmed at the camp she works at. No, that's not for you. Your butt's in the camera. The camp that she works at does a reenactment every single night of the movie that was shot at the camp, right? Everybody's following along. Everybody understands what I'm saying. But it goes off the rails. Everything goes completely ridiculous. People just start now showing up to work. Now, mind you, they live at this camp because, like, it's a camp. But that's the only thing they do. It's no kids, nothing like that. But the only thing they do is every single night they have this reenactment that goes on for, like, it's like an escape room. Like an escape room at the camp. Perfect way to explain it. And it was fantastic. That was the only book I gave 5 stars last year. And I don't regret it at all. It was like perfect. Like it was great. To the point where I was like, it was another book that I had like kind of figured out what was going on, but not really. It was great. I read the book in like 2 days. It's a really thin read. Like it's maybe 210 pages. It's a pretty thin read. And you know how sometimes when you're reading, the book like sits in your subconscious? So like you're reading a book, you close the book, you go about your day. When you open the book, because it's sitting in your subconscious, you're able to like jump right back in, right? And that's the problem with Percy Jackson. He's not understanding that this book is sitting in everybody's subconscious, so when you open it, it's coming back. And I understand it was years between releases. That don't mean can't nobody remember nothing. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, the book was sitting in my subconscious. You're not supposed to die tonight was sitting in my subconscious. And I went to sleep and had the weirdest dreams. And I was like, I gotta get up and finish this book. I woke up that morning, finished that, didn't even move. Didn't do anything. Opened that book, finished it, had to. I had no choice. It was bothering me. It was plaguing me. It was plaguing my nightmares, my thoughts, and my dreams. No. What happened? No. IV Drip. That book is staying with me for the rest of my life. For better or for worse. It scarred me. Moving on. Yeah, and the last book that I read last year that I have injected in my veins is, drumroll please. Drumroll please. Yeah, it's Children of Blood and Bone. I know you're not surprised. No one's shocked. No one's shocked. No one's surprised. That book, I read that book when it came out in 2018 and took it to college with me. Like, I haven't lived in a place where that book has not been with me. I don't think I'll ever let that book go. I would never be able to let that book go. So, what I'm saying. That book has everything. Like, it's everything that Avatar The Last Airbender was, but black. And I love it. I love that first book. That first book can do no wrong in my eyes. So, now, this is a bonus round because Russian roulette and because I say so. However, IV Drip category, this book I didn't read last year. I did read in 2023. But it's an honorable mention because the third one's coming out. It's the Bloodmark series. Yes! 1 and 2. 1 and 2. I loved Avalon High growing up. There is not a version of a Merlin story that I'm not going to go watch, or at least try to watch. Arthur's Round Table plagues my existence. There is nothing, I can't get away from it, and I wouldn't even dare try. My favorite animated series is Troll Hunters. How on God's green earth we get into Merlin in that? Oh, perfect. Perfect. Bloodmarked. Now, okay, I did like Legendborn more than I like Bloodmarked. And that's because I'm a Nick girl. I want Nick with Brie. That's, I don't care. I like Frank's Lovers. Sue me, shoot me, whatever. The third book is coming out next month. Guys, I'm so excited. I'm literally about to go pre-order my book right now. Why? Because it's 25% off at Barnes & Noble. I wish they were having the midnight release parties here. They're having them for Sunrise on the Reaping, but they're not having them for Oathbound, which I think is ridiculous because, oh my god. And I'm reading Hunger Games right now. That also goes in the IV Drip category. Okay, this is getting long. I'm done. However, this was lovely. This was lovely. And I hate to say it, but my rankings are the end all be all. That's it. They don't change. That's it. Those are locked in stone. Locked in concrete. Locked in concrete. However, if you disagree with me and you think that a book deserves to be higher or lower, or something deserves to be in the boo category, which is crazy work. But if you do, say that. I would love to hear your opinion in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts about these rankings, even though they're set in stone, but whatever. No, I would actually love to hear your thoughts. And I think that's all I got. This was great. I appreciate you guys so much, even if it's just 9 of you. I don't care. I appreciate you guys so much for listening to me talk and rant and scream about books and almost cry about books, which is ridiculous. And that's pretty much it. Thank you and good night. Mwah.